Hello, greetings, madam. Good day to you. I will cover our first assignment regarding the poster. And the topic that I choose, the first one will be the sources of Malaysian law, and then we'll cover another segment, which is the contract law within Malaysian legal system. Alright, so regarding the sources of Malaysian law, so we can divide it to two class, which is the written law and also the unwritten law. So the written law is what I can say is a formal, enacted, documented by the legislative body or the authorized authority, such as constitution, statutes, and also regulations. Technically, it was divided into four hierarchy, which is the federal constitution, which is the highest level form of law in our country, and then the acts of parliament, state enactment, and then the subsidiary legislations. So, as required, each of these class of hierarchy will be presented together, with the example of case related to that hierarchy. So the first one we'll check on the federal constitution. As I said before, is the highest law in Malaysia, as it sets out the structure of government. As we know, under the king, the structure of our government will divide it into three segment, which is the executive, legislature, and also the judiciary. After that, our federal constitution also marks or set the boundary of the powers of federal and also the state government, and also the fundamental rights of Malaysian citizen. There's a case of example of case between Indira Gandhi and also the pengarah Jabatan Agama Islam Perak, as it involves the issue of conversion of children into Islam without the consent of their parents. This involved the constitutional issue, as the interpretation goes as whether the parents have rights under the constitution to disagree with the conversion of their child. So the decision made by the federal court ruled that both parents must consent if their child want to convert to Islam. Okay, so moving on. Next one with the acts of parliament, which is one hierarchy under the federal constitution. It's a laws passed by the Parliament of Malaysia, can also be known as statutory laws or legislation, and must be consistent with the federal constitution of Malaysia. So any acts of the parliament, the bill must pass both house, which is this Dewan Negeri and also Dewan Negara, and it must receive royal assent to become an act. So the final votes will goes to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. So the example of the case that related is the Carlin and Carbolic Smoke bill, as it involves the Contract Act 1950, where similar principles is applied, and in this case is regarding the validity of contract and also offer. So moving on to the next one, which is the state enactment. The state of enactment is a set of laws made by the state legislative assembly, or what we call Dewan Undangan Negeri, and also known as an enactment in some state in Peninsular Malaysia. And whatever the state enactment is, it must comply with the federal constitution, even though the authoritative territory or the set of power will be based on that state only. Uh, so an example of case related to this, most of the time involve Sharia law. As per the case I said here, was the Sulaiman Takrib versus Kerajaan Negeri Terengganu. As it involves the issue, Sulaiman raised the issue whether the Sharia criminal offences enactment. So it state whether the Terengganu had the power to create certain Islamic offences. So the decision made by the court was that the court upheld the validity of the state enactment. So in this sense, Terengganu Sharia Court can help the authority to create a certain Islamic offences. Okay, so moving on to the last one, the lowest hierarchy was the subsidiary legislation. This is the set of laws made by persons or bodies under authority of an enactment and acts of parliament. Okay, so it must, like all the hierarchy above, it must comply with the Federal Constitution of Malaysia and the Parent Act. So this the subsidiary legislation can be made by ministers, ministries, agencies, or local government. But no matter what the act is, it must comply, it must follow the Parent Act, and must be along with our federal constitution. So for example, a case related to this subsidiary legislation is when the pengarah Tanah Anggana Wilayah Persekutuan versus Sri Lempat Enterprise, when he issued whether a public authority could impose additional condition beyond the law. The principle is that public authorities must act within powers only given by the law, cannot go beyond the law. Okay, so we have finished the written law part, and now we're going to the unwritten law, which it involves judicial precedent, Islamic law, and also customary law. Okay, so what we can understand is unwritten law refers to the legal principles not enacted by Parliament or found in the Constitution, but primarily comprising the English common law and equity. So the system follows what we say predates the British time. So we go to the judicial precedent. So it's a set of law made by judges through court decisions, also known as case law. So it was stated that it was based on principle of stare decisis or decided cases, and lower courts must follow the decision of the higher courts. So example here is the Donoghue versus Stevenson, where the issue is the establishment of negligence or duty of care towards their neighbour. The judge had the idea to decide this based on the neighbour principle in tort law, and hence it agrees that they have to establish the duty of care towards their neighbours. Okay, so moving on to the next one, which is the Islamic law. So this is a set of law derived from the Sharia or Sharia principles, and it applied only to Muslims in Malaysia and administered by Sharia courts at the state level. So it won't involve federation level. So the example here we can see is the Latifah Mazin versus Rosmawati, where the issue is the conflict between a civil court and also Sharia court regarding the inheritance dispute. So the decision made by the judge is that Sharia court has jurisdiction over Islamic matters and not civil court. So moving on to the last one is the customary law or adat. It's a set of law that based on customs, tradition, and also practices of the community, unwritten but recognized and enforced by court. This one applies to a specific group of people, so let's say Malays, the Orang Asli, the native of Sabah and Sarawak. So for example, the case that can be related to this customary law is when Batok Bagi versus Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak, as he issued the scope of native customary land rights. And the importance is that they can clarify the extent of that customary land claims. Alright, okay, so we have finished the first topic, and we're moving on to the next one, which is the contract law within Malaysian legal. So I've had the initiative to first to understand what is contract law. So contract law is a branch of civil law that governs the agreement between parties. And the main statute as reference of the parent act is the Contract Act 1950s, as it defines the rules on offer, acceptance, consideration, capacity, and also breach of contract. So how contract law fits into the system? Constitution remains as the highest form of law, and the acts of parliament or the contract acts 1950 will play the role as the main rules, and the courts will interpret and apply the law, where subsidiary laws will then provide the details. So contract law can be regarded as the core part of the statutory law and supported by the case law. So to better understand this, we can see where is the position of the contract law in our legal system. So as you can see, a part of the Acts of Parliament is the contract law is primarily based on the Contract Act, and subject to the Constitution must comply with the Federal Constitution. That is technically the general policy that all laws must comply with our Federal Constitution. The influence by judicial precedent is that court interpret contract principle through cases, and supported by subsidiary legislation. So certain regulation may support specific contract areas, such as the business rules. So and this also applies in the civil court, heard in court such as High Court and also Session Court. So this is technically how contract law fit in our legal system. So that's all from me, madam. Thank you.